Hey guys, welcome back to Top Tipper Betting Tips. I hope you're having a fantastic festive season and you're ready for the question and answer video with the Postman who always delivers. So we're doing this, guys, so that you can get a feeling on who's tipping you, your winners, and who's steering you in the right direction for tidy profit. So this is your boy Delboy. My name is Steve, but the guys call me Delboy. And we're going to be speaking to the Postman, who's also known as Mace. Mace Roberts, obviously, Mace. But the Top Tipper team call him Mace. But he prefers to be known as the Postman, who always delivers on our channel. So we're going to go through a couple of questions and have a little bit of fun, hopefully, and a little bit of banter, and you guys can get to know the Postman. So, Postman, welcome.
Yeah, Steve. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Would you like to say anything to the punters?
Yeah, well, first of all, just to wish them a very, very Merry Christmas for those that celebrate. Those that don't, I hope they've had a great couple of days off, and yeah, racing continues, and please Lord, let us tip a lot of winners and let us all show a handsome profit at the end of every month.
That's what we like to hear, the Postman, also known as Mace, the Ace. So, Mace, I'm actually sitting at my house in Ireland with a nice fire roaring, and I'm gonna. Yeah. So if you hear any crackling and that, you know it's the fire going. And you in KwaZulu-Natal in Durban, and we're going to go.
As hot as hell, eh?
Is it as hot as hell there today? Okay.
Oh, jeez, it's very humid, eh? Very humid.
Yeah, it's very overcast here and raining, and it's winter in Ireland. So, how old were you when you first got involved in horse racing, Mace?
Geez, Steve. Yeah, I was a kid. My parents were very friendly with trainer Johnny Gorton. Those that will remember, Johnny rode Jolly Fire in the July when it dead heated with Sea Cottage. I think that was the 1966 or 67, somewhere around there. And then we used to go over to his stables. He was still training for the Oppenheimers at that stage. And that's how I sort of was introduced to horse racing, going, visiting them, obviously seeing the horses, seeing them train, speaking to the jockeys. And yeah, then the whole story, one gets hooked, hook, line and sinker. And I think everybody listening, we all sort of experience the same thing. We get involved, and yeah, at school, we all used to duck out at big break and go and have a 50 cents place accumulator and have a small touch. Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's done the same thing, and you go and you look and you say, well, racing's a grey ball or whatever, so we shoot out at break and we bunk the last two bloody lessons to go and have a touch on the horses,
I know you love your racing.
Oh, absolutely. No, absolutely. And I think everybody on the channel, I'm sure there's nobody that hasn't bunked school to go and have a touch on the horses. You know what I'm saying? I think the guys are still ducking work to go and have a touch.
Oh, that's for sure. That's for sure, Mace.
No, 100%. Once the bug has bitten, I mean, wow, how do you stop? You know what I'm saying? It's lovely. It's fantastic. Nothing better than shouting a winner home a Tuesday.
But I know that through my experience being involved with horse racing with you, I know you're very disciplined, and I know you like you love your racing, you like having a bet, but you're very disciplined and you play according to your budget, or we all do because we're in a syndicate and we all bet together.
Yeah.
And we stick to our, even if we lose on a day, we don't chase. Can you tell the guys a bit about that, Mace?
Yeah, look, Stevie, it wasn't always like that. I mean, as a youngster, you do stupid things. You go and you're losing bloody double checks and yeah. But again, you hit the nail on the head. It's chasing. I mean, you go through. You set yourself a budget, set yourself a goal. Today, I want to make X amount, 500 rand or 1,000 rand. Once you've hit that target, bugger off home. The biggest mistake people make, I think, Steve, is when they say, "Oh, I'm playing with their money." No, that's nonsense, man. When that money's in your pocket, it's your bloody money.
Exactly.
So don't be misguided and say, listen, I'm playing with their money. No. So yeah, set yourself a target. Once you made it, go home. Nobody's going to back 10 winners or 8 winners, Stevie, and nobody's going to tip 8 or 10 winners on a trot. And again, like you said earlier on, play to a budget. If I've got 3,000 Rand for the month, say to myself, right, if I have one bet a meeting or 2 bets a meeting, I've got to divide that by 30. Once your balance has doubled, well, increase your bet. If it goes down, half your bet. But you have to play according to your budget. I mean, nobody wants to go and lose the rent money. Unfortunately, I think we've all done that.
We've all done that before, Mace. And another thing too, with regards to being disciplined, is you end up having more fun. I find, and you're not under pressure.
Correct. I mean, of course you want to back 8 winners, but we've got to be realistic. That's not going to happen. So choose yourself 2 or 3 races. If you fancy something, have a small touch. And then you can watch the rest, take your notebook if something runs well or runs on or whatever, just make a note of it. I mean, it's going to run again. There's always racing tomorrow. I mean, we're fortunate nowadays, there's racing every day of the darn week.
Another thing too, Mace, which I know we're getting off the topic of what we wanted to discuss, but I also find that guys try and make more money than what they should be making. Like, they'll, instead of taking a double or backing one horse, they try and back 3 or 4 horses, and one loses, so they're not winners on the day. Whereas we minimize our risk as top tipper.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, no, 100%. That's why the bookie gives you the great odds. He wants you to take multiples. And again, what I find as well, maybe the guys go and they take multiples, but they forget to take places.
Exactly.
I mean, my Lord, you're getting horses at 6 to 10 to win. Man, I can get 6 to 10 to run in the first 3 or 4.
Yeah,
really, so where should money be? You've got to take places. The guys need to understand that type of thing. Don't be scared. A winner's a win. Whether it's a 6 to 10 win or 6 to 10 to run a drum, you still got the same money in your pocket.
Yeah, and us as top tipper, our little team, we learned that the hard way in the early days of always trying to make the big money, but you'd make that big money in 3 months, whereas now we make better money at the end of the month because we're backing more winners and we're being more consistent and disciplined.
Yeah, 100% as well. Steve, you go out there, and I've never seen some guy break a bookie in one day.
No. No.
And if you think you're going to do that, you're in for a very, very big surprise. So no. Slowly. I mean, if we can make 10, 15, 20 grand a month, well, there's nobody in the world that's going to give you that money, for nothing. So you have to be disciplined. Don't be scared to take place bets, and just structure your bets accordingly. You know what I'm saying?
Well, this is why we started this channel, Mace, as you know, because with me wanting to, when I phoned you up and we started this channel, we wanted to share our experiences with the punters out there and have a bit of fun with the channel. And then it got more serious and more serious and more serious. And now we're getting guys to subscribe because we want to look after those guys that subscribe, and we want to teach them how we learned to make money at the end of the day.
No, 100%, Steve. I've always maintained, no matter how much money you got, we can't take it to the other side. So we need to go, we need to enjoy, we need to look after everybody, But big mistake, if you go and you win 1,000 Rand, it's all secret. Don't go and tell anybody. If you go and tell the missus you won 1,000 Rand, by the time you've taken her out for dinner and all that nonsense, you're down to 200 bucks left.
Exactly.
Keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Every time my wife says, how did you go? No, good day. Did you win? Go out 2 Rand 50. And just leave it like that. Don't tell them how much you've won. But when you have a good strike, well, obviously you take mommy out, buy 1 or 2 gifts. As long as mommy's happy, boy, everybody's happy. You know the story.
I know the story. That's for sure. Yeah, just to continue off where we ended there, to carry on, is I moved to Ireland a couple of years ago, but we still visit South Africa mainly because of the horse racing and a bit of family. But for the punters to know, I had cancer, I'm clear now, thank God. And I just thought about life and wanted to share a bit of our life experiences with the punters out there. And Mace obviously got involved with us, and him and I have been punting for years and years and years together. And he said, yeah, let's do it. Let's share it with the guys. So that's how we got going. And we're having more fun now than ever, aren't we?
No, 100%. You know what I'm saying? You go to the track as well and you see some of the guys and they sort of know who you are. You know, anything good. Yeah, of course, this is what I fancy, this is what I fancy. You know, hey, as long as you can make somebody happy and we walk away from the course with a couple of rand in the pocket, man, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we can't take the darn money with us to the other side. So let's just make everybody happy. The world will be a better place.
100%, Mace. Mace, I'm going to move on to another question now.
Sure.
What are your likes? What are your likes in horse racing?
My likes, punting and tipping a bloody winner. I mean, everybody likes that.
I know when you tip a winner, you phone me straight away, and we go mad, don't we? Because we know the punters have got on.
100%.
Yeah, it's a great feeling.
We like kids in a bloody candy store. Steve, I tell you what I really like at the moment. I mean, in the old days, racing was for the elite, you know, the rich and famous. Now you've got these guys introducing syndicates, whereby one can go and you can have a small share in a horse. I think it's brilliant, and I honestly would like a lot of our subscribers to get involved in something like that.
Yeah.
You know, maybe if they're interested, they need to email you or let you guys know, listen, we're interested. And when something comes up, it's a case of saying, listen, guys, we have a horse, this is a name, have a look at the breeding on it. Is 10% or 15 or 20% shares available? Man, there can be nothing better, Steve, if you get 10 or 12 of us involved in a horse. We all meet at Summerfeld, we watch a darn thing, train, we all go to the track together, shout at home. You know, if it runs a place, they still think we've won the bloody July, we'd be so excited.
Especially our top tipper family. Especially our top tipper family, getting the boys involved Mace, getting the boys involved that never dreamt of owning a racehorse because of the price we can get it at for them.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing better. Can you imagine we all go down, we meet at Summerfeld, and all of a sudden we're meeting 10 people that we don't know from a bar of soap, but we all have a common interest. We all own a part of the darn racehorse. You know, we get to know the trainers, chat to the jockeys. No, man, Steve, that's life.
Exactly.
And if we can do something, if we can do something good, and we can all benefit, oh, what a pleasure! Only a pleasure.
And I know that I know that yourself and the Warrigal have been doing it quite often at the moment, is meeting the guys there, trying to set up what we can get involved in and what we can't get involved in. And also having a breakfast with the jockeys, and you know, we're busy with partnerships now, and we're going to get our punters involved as well, so they can also have a bit of fun. So I know you're very excited about that, and so is the Warrigal and the kid, and myself, as a top tipping team. So I think it's exciting. We got some exciting times ahead, and I'm glad you're really enjoying it up there in the morning up at Summerfeld.
Yeah, no, 100%. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we go up there, we look, we chat to everybody. What a pleasure. You know, you're just meeting some good people, some decent people. And that's what life is all about. You know, life is too short. We just need to enjoy life, Stevie?
Exactly. And the main thing is that we don't go up there asking them for tips because we're so confident in what we tip. They are only too happy to give you tips because you don't ask them for tips.
Yeah.
You don't put them under pressure.
100%. No. I mean, there must be nothing worse in life. Every time you see somebody, they ask you what's good. You know, and I mean, you go and look at the jockeys and a lot of the trainers as well. Every time somebody sees them, hey, what's good? No, man. You know, go up there. If they tell us something, well, I relay it straight back, you know, to the guys from the track. What I say, listen, guys, I've heard this. Have a look, have a go. If you fancy it, you know, do your thing. No, 100%. And again, we must just be careful. One must be careful where one gets info from.
Exactly.
You know?
We're only putting the info out on Telegram when we know the source is correct, 9 times out of
Yeah,
10.
correct.
You're not going to tip a winner
Correct.
every day on it, but
No.
9 times out of 10 we trust that source. So that's what the punters need to
Correct.
know, you know. Like I had one
Correct.
guy,
And again-
I had one guy on the channel that thought we would tip the bar pot every meeting. I mean, no punter in the world is
that's
going to do
impossible.
that. You know, it's impossible.
Yeah, that's impossible.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and again, what the guys must realize, we put a suggested permutation. But they need to realize, if they fancy something, man, put it in. There's nothing worse when you fancy something, you don't put it in, you're one aroused, and the selections are running bush, you know. So, no, man, just guys, if you fancy something, put it in, for heaven's sake. You know, we spend a long time studying. I mean, 6 or 8 hours a bloody card. But I'm sure some of the guys out there are doing the same. And if they fancy their own thing, man, please never leave it out. Always add it in. You
Even
know,
if they take a smaller percentage,
right?
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
You know, and I always say to the people, hey, 20% of something is better than 100% of bugger all.
Exactly.
So
Well, that's why we're
take
trying to
take a
educate
smaller
the guys.
percentage. Yeah, 100%. 100%, Stevie.
Yeah. And what are your dislikes in horse racing, Mace?
Dislikes in horse racing. Yeah, Steve, I think probably the abuse that the jockeys get from punters. I really dislike it. You know, you look at a scenario, you got a kid, he's 16, 17, sitting on a horse. The kid has not told anybody to have a bet. He runs third or fourth, and then the jockey he gets abused. I mean, I always say, if that was my life, how would I feel people abusing my kid? No, man. You know, instead, go and look at the race. I mean, there's nothing worse than these armchair jockeys telling, hey, this oak's pulled this horse and that oak's done this. Bull dust. I mean, half the oaks or 90% of them have never sat on a bloody horse.
And
You
they're
know,
all
but
trying
they
to ride
just
a
do
winner. They're all trying to ride a winner
Yeah.
at the end of the day, aren't they?
Yeah, 100%. So, no, I don't like the abuse. You know, instead, the guy goes, he wins a race. When he comes past, say to him, geez, you know, whatever, Anton or Shawnee or whatever, hey, good ride, well done. And they will see that very often the jockey will stop and say thank you. I mean, the oak is human. You know what I'm saying?
We're all human. I think the trainers
Yeah.
get a lot of stick as well with regards to a horse having a bad race. Like the other day at Greyville, the horse never jumped. The favourite, what was it called? I think it was in the third race. Odds on 6 to 10. It was in the second race. The horse never jumped. I mean, that was a racing certainty, and the horse never jumped. I mean, it wasn't the jockey or the trainer's fault the horse never jumped.
No. I mean, the other day at Greyville as well, there's a horse called Airways. And if you looked at that, I mean, that thing is 2 divisions better than it ran against. That could not have lost. We go and we look at the rerun of the race. They jumped. It was like the bloody Cape Crawl. Nobody was going. Every jock was fighting with the rider. When they came into the straight to turn into sprint, the horse couldn't win.
Exactly. The
So
guys need
those
to
that
be.
are listening,
The guys need to be more. How can I say?
sympathetic
Towards
the jocks. Yeah.
And the trainers they're trying their
And
best.
again, Stevie, what we're going to realize, the horse is running 16, 17 meters a second. The jockey goes left instead of right. He stops, he comes back, that's 2 seconds. That's 30 meters he's got to try and make up. You know, it's not easy. We all make mistakes, for God's sake.
Exactly.
Yeah, Stevie, I think, honestly, I think that's probably my biggest dislike is just abusing the jocks and the trainers. It's unnecessary.
Yeah,
You know,
I agree with you.
If you go to the casino, and that machine doesn't pay you, what, you can sit and curse the machine or hit the machine. If you do that, you'll get dragged right out of the bloody casino. You'll be banned.
100%.
No problem.
Okay, so we're going to carry on from there. I agree with you on the dislikes, but we're going to move on. Are you superstitious when it comes to horse racing, Mace?
Jeez, Stevie, as a youngster, I would never wear green to the bloody race course. If you wished me good luck, I'd stay at home. And I think everybody, I used to have this chap. If I saw this chap at the race course, that was me. I did my bundle. I couldn't win. I remember going to Clarewood in the old days. I think I was with the Warrigal. Going in, walking, I saw this oak, and that was me. I just turned around and I went home.
Yeah, he was your bad luck.
Oh, Jesus, he was a total racing hole, as they would say in South Africa. At the moment, nah, not superstitious at all.
Okay.
Really, I'm not.
Okay. And your favorite jockey today, currently?
Favorite jockey currently, I must say Anton Marcus. I think he's head and shoulders above everybody.
Okay.
Just look at the way he rides. Look how he's balanced. Anton, I think it's a privilege to still have this oak in the country.
Okay, nice. That's quite interesting. And your favorite jockey of all time?
Oh, shit. Excuse me, I'm smoking at the same time. Shit's filthy habit.
No,
See,
that's
your favorite
fine.
jockey of all time must be Mace Roberts.
Your idol.
Mace Roberts. Oh, my God. Absolutely.
Is that why we call you Mace Roberts?
Absolutely. I mean, that oak, for heaven's sake, just go and look at some of the rides this oak has had. 11-time South African champion. Won the South African title as an apprentice, for God's sake. There was a match race, in the 80s, I think it was. Mace rode a horse called Northern Princess against Senor Santa. Excuse me, I swallowed something. And we were all sitting there, and everybody's telling me, Senor Santa can't get beat. Man, there must have been about 50 or 60,000 people at the track that day. And, of course, my money was on Mace. And I promise you, he jumps, he goes 5 lengths clear. He holds up, coming into the straight, he kicks. Senor Santa goes past him. And, of course, Mace calls for an effort. And he gets up and he wins. No, Stevie, head and shoulders above anybody. He didn't just win, champion in the UK. In a league of his own. In a total league of his own.
And I know you named one of your kids after him. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. That's correct. My oldest son.
Okay.
Absolute genius in a saddle. Yeah, he could take a bloody wine glass, put it on his head. He wouldn't spill a bloody drop. Total legend, absolutely.
And I know the other day when you were on the course, you had a nice chat with him, which was nice, and a nice photo, a nice photo with your idol.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, what was nice actually, we actually gave him a winner.
I believe so. Can you tell the punters about that? Can you tell the punters about that?
Yeah, I can. Basically, what was happening, the Warwick and I, we were at Greyville, and it was the last race. And he just came in, he's sitting and chatting with us. And he asked us, boys, what do we fancy? So we told him what we fancied. We fancied Dylan in the last. And, I think we all had a small touch on it. And I don't know who was shouting the loudest, Mace, myself, or the Warwick.
I believe it was Mace. I believe it was Mace Roberts.
The three of us were shouting so loud. But it was brilliant,
That's
and
special.
Again,
that's special, Mace.
Totally. And when you speak to the man, you realize, man, this is a decent human being.
And I bet you didn't ask him for a tip, did you?
Yeah.
So just to carry on there, Mace, that's why we call you Mace, because Mace is your idol. You named your son after him, which he found out yesterday. And you tipped him a winner yesterday, and as well as we tipped the punters. So that's quite a good journey, and you didn't ask him for a tip, which is a good thing. So
not at all. I'll never ask him, Stevie.
100%. We wait for them to tell us, because that's the genuine
Correct.
That's the genuine graft, Mace. You know that.
100%.
So we've done your favorite jockey, your current favorite jockey, and who's your current appy that you fancy?
Listen, Stevie, it must be, what's her name, Rachel Vinegar. I mean, wow, what a breath of fresh air.
Okay, Mace.
This young girl riding these top guys to sleep. And again, she falls under the wings of whom? Mace Roberts. I mean, wow.
I hope there's no bias there because it's Mace.
No, not at all. I mean, just go and look at how. I mean, when she first started, you'll bear me out. She's still arguing that she wasn't strong enough. Again, she's still developing. But yeah, I think I think she's got a brain on her, and she'll do well. I mean, we go and we look. I mean, even the Jovic boys are flying her up, and she's going up there and she's riding winner after winner there. No, definitely Rachel. What a breath of fresh air. Absolutely.
100%, Mason. I think she's getting a lot of input from Mace himself, which is good.
Oh, absolutely. You know, you're learning from the best. I mean, wow, what a pleasure.
Yeah,
exactly. And as long as she keeps her head on her shoulders, I think she'll do really, really well, eh?
Yeah, she's got to keep her feet on the ground, and she'll do well. She's really a little superstar at the moment. I quite fancy the way she rides as well. So
I'm hoping to get an interview with her, Stevie, in the not too distant future.
Okay.
Sort of put the word out, and we're just waiting, and that'll be great. You know, obviously for the patrons, I'll ask you a couple of questions. We'll have a chat and laugh, or whatever the scenario is.
I know you and the Warrigal are trying to set that up with a couple of trainers and a couple of jockeys for our punters, our loyal subscribers.
100%.
So we really appreciate 100%. That, Mace. Thank you so much for that. I don't mean to be rude, but we're going to push on now.
Yes.
Your favorite trainer of all time?
Of all time? Look, there's been some top ones. I mean, we got to look at Millard. I mean, he won every bloody thing. Rolf Rickson, old man Kannemeyer. These were legends. I mean, I even throw, people are going to laugh at me, I even throw Pat Lunn into that category, Stevie. I mean, we go and we look at Pat. I mean, he's had some top horses, Model Man, On Avant. He's had some top horses. But Terence Millard must be the all-time great, eh?
Okay.
I mean, his records speak for himself.
Okay, so that's your favorite trainer of all time. That's interesting, mate.
Yeah, definitely.
And your current favorite trainer? Do you have one at the moment?
I think Sean Terry, man. I honestly do. I mean, the way he can line horses up, bring them back from a rest. He's in a league of his own, you know. And you see horses come into the stable, they improve. Sean Terry. Definitely.
Does anyone come close to him, Mace, for you?
Look, the States are doing really, really well. But again, you know, we've got to say to ourselves, what is a good trainer? If I've got all the top owners putting the best horses in the land with me, well, in theory, I should do all right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I look at some of the smaller yards. Corey Lensley is doing really well with a small string. I'm hoping that old Nathan Cotson starts coming to light. Things seem to be turning around for Natty as well. So I'm hoping things go well for him. You know?
I know you've had a couple of meetings with him, and you're looking at buying a couple of horses with him. So hopefully that materializes, and we can share that with the punters.
100%. You know, again, you go and look at Nathan. Nathan used to work under Pat Lunn, and I rate Pat very, very knowledgeable. He worked under Mike de Kock. I mean, nobody can argue with the success that Mike has had. So, yeah, you know.
I think he's also very underrated, isn't he, Craig?
Very much so. Very much so, hey? Let's just see what happens. But yeah, I do think Sean Terry's the top boy at the moment.
Okay, we'll that's interesting. Okay, so we've done your favorite trainer, your current favorite trainer. Do you consider yourself a tipster?
A tipster? No, that's an ugly word, Stevie. No, I don't. I consider myself more as an analyst.
Okay, that's interesting.
I look at each race, I analyze, I price the horses up. As if I was going to lay the bet, and analyze. I go through, I watch reruns, check form grids. So not a tipster per se, more of an analyst. And when I tell the patrons what I fancy, they must sit and listen. If they don't agree with my analysis, well, obviously they must take their own thing. You know, but that's why I fancy a horse, and I'll let them know 100%. So tipster, no; analyst, yes.
I always tell the guys to listen to your analyst because 9 times out of 10, you know exactly what you're talking about, and you're steering them in the right direction. And 9 times out of 10, you're tipping them the right horse in the race, so, or how the race is going to pan out. So that's quite interesting.
No, 100%. I mean, you go through and you look to see if there's going to be a pace in the race and things like that. And what I fancy as well, you sort of go through a card and you see something 16 to 1 or 18 to 1 or whatever, and you throw it into as a selection to run third or fourth. And I tell the guys, listen, this one I'm expecting improvement. The horse comes through, wins the darn race. Had you had listened, well, you would have certainly thrown it in a jackpot or PA or one of your exotics. So, the guys must just listen to the way we analyze, and they'll get a feeling on why we fancy something and why we don't.
I also listened to your analysis after we've discussed everything, and us as a team, we punt horses on analysis, so that's why we're successful at the moment. And another thing too is yourself and the Warricle, especially yourself, the Warricle, and the kid. You'll never give an odds on 6 to 10 or 8 to 10 shot as your best bet.
Never. Not been ugly. My wife can open up a newspaper and go and look at that. I don't have to tell any patron, listen, this is the best bet on the day. No. They can choose that themselves. But what I will do, I will try and look for something that I think can turn it over. And I will certainly include that one in my exotics. Yeah. I mean, if you go back and you look, you're not going to make money if all 8 favorites arrive. But if you've taken 2 horses or 3 horses and the 6 to 10 runs off the board, well, that's where the big money comes. What people need to realize, and hopefully you'll have a chat with the Warricle. I think he's one of very few people that has been the only 2 tickets in the place accumulator.
I know that.
And you're certainly not going to have only 2 tickets if you're tipping all the bloody favorites.
Another thing too is, sorry if I cut you off there, Mace, but another thing that comes to mind with me is, and how we've discussed it as a team, is that we could tip 3 favorites in a week and win 120 Rand for 100 Rand. Whereas if you tip one outsider at 14 to 1 and it comes in, you got 1,400 Rand as opposed to trying to chase with favorites. So you're always chasing with favorites, and that's with no disrespect to any other betting site. We're not doing that. We're talking about what we find that works for us. Is we would rather tip value than an odds-on shot, and there's more risk as an odds-on shot because you've got to put more money down.
Correct. Again, what the guys must realize, I think a favorite wins, 40% of the time? So if we go and we punt 2 odds on, 2 8 to 10s, and they both get beat, you've got to win 4 or 5 times in a row before you come out even.
Exactly.
If I give you a 5 to 1 shot as a best bet, I can lose 5 on a trot, win the 6th one, and I'm even.
And you're even, yeah. Well, that's what we found out that works for us. That's why we're showing over a 21,000 profit in the first 3 months of tipping.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's value.
Exactly.
And like I said earlier, rather punt a horse to run a place at 8 to 10. You've got 3. Fight with your bookie. Try and get 4 places.
Yeah.
At 8 to 10. I mean, the other day, in one of the Transvaal meetings, I still said to the guys, I quite fancy Khumalo the whole day. He never had one winner. However, the 2 races I didn't fancy him. I think the one race I didn't tip, the other one he was on Banner Bridge. I think I tipped that 3rd or 4th. But every other race, we put an all-to-come place bet. 4 places. We got 12.5 to 1, for God's sake. I mean, TCMs, that's value.
Yeah.
Now, when you say to the guys, listen, guys, I think this is going to have a good day, it doesn't mean he's going to have 8 winners. It means he's going to run a drum and we can make something out of that.
Exactly.
So exactly. I would never tip an odds on as a best bet or value bet. However, all I say to him, listen, I don't think you can get beat.
I hope that's put it in perspective with regards to our subscribers. why we don't tip those favorites, and why we tip value. Can you tell me, how do you select your value, Mace?
Stevie, like I said earlier on, what I would do, I would grab the race card and I'll price them up. So let's say there's a horse I would price up at 3-1. When I go look at the betting, if it's 9-2 or 11-2, that's value.
Yep.
That's how, you know. So if you wanted to bet with me, you know, and I say to you, well, listen, you know, the horse is 16-10, and I don't think it can get beat. You know, there's no way I'm going to give you 16-10. But if I think the horse should be 8-1 and it's 16-10, well, I'll give you the bet. So yeah, I price up first and I look for value on that.
So you actually price yourself up as a bookie at the end of the day, don't you?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. Look, it is subjective, but that's how they do the handicapping. You know, everything is subjective, so the guys just have to realize that. But that's how I look for value. I price it up. If I price it up at 3-1, and like I said, it's 5-1, well, I think there's value there. It's worth to have a small each-way touch on that.
Okay, that's interesting. And we're going to move on to another question. What do you do? Do you do when you're off form or your tip goes missing?
Wait. Besides kick the wall and
smash the TV.
Steve, I probably sit down and I go through the race again, and I say to myself, well, why the hell did I miss that one? You know, where did I go wrong? You know, very often, if the horse is 33-1, well, hell, if they rerun the race again and I know the result, I still won't punt it. But yeah, so I do. I go back, I look, and see where I went wrong. What did I miss? Did I miss anything? You know, but again, you know, when you go and you're analyzing and you're giving, let's call it tips out. Yeah, you go through your ups and downs. When things are on a roll, well, then the boys must climb in. But what is nice, I think between us guys at Top Tipper, if you're having a bad run, it's quite simple. Listen, guys, I'm having a bad run, and somebody else will step in.
Yeah.
You know, one can have a bad run for many reasons. You know, there's a death in the family, somebody gets sick, something goes wrong at home, you're not thinking clearly. You know,
another thing too is I know that yourself and I have been doing a lot of reading, especially up in the UK and that, and all the tipsters or the analysts, racing analysts, say that they do have a month or two of a bad run, but they always know that that's going to turn, and that's why we tip that value, so we know when it turns. Or if we're having a bad run, they're still they're not losing money. Like the bad run that we had, we were still 750 Rand up. I think it was October or November. I still need to do that video. But for now, December, we're showing a profit again. So you're going to have those poor times and those bad times, and where guys think that you can't tip a cat to win on a horse. But as long as we know that we come back and we come back even stronger than what we did, and we analyze why we tipped that horse, you're only going to get better as an analyst.
No, 100%. You know, you go through and you look at the race and you say, well, my horse ran third or fourth, I tipped it as a good thing. Why? Maybe the pace. I mean, again, I bring Airways into the other day. I mean, my Lord, you know, that horse should never have lost. And if the guys are listening, they need to pencil that horse in. I'm bloody sure we'll win next time out.
That will win next time out.
So,
They think very highly of that horse, Mace. You know that.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of those things, Stevie, you know. I've stopped kicking the wall and throwing things at the TV or whatever the case is. But just you got to take it and move on. You know, it's how you bounce back, eh?
Exactly. And a lot of the time is, as long as you're analyzing why you're tipping that horse, we're only going to get better. Like I said. Okay, we're going to move
Correct,
on from
correct.
that then, Mace.
Sure.
Next thing I'd like to discuss is your worst loss ever.
Worst loss. Yeah, Stevie, we were at Clearwood many years ago, and we were on a horse called Chili Boom Boom. Again, myself and the Warrigal.
Chili Boom Boom, eh?
And Chili Boom Boom, yeah, geez, I'll never forget that. Robbie Fad was still riding the bloody thing.
How can you forget that name, Mace?
Yeah, you can never forget that name. I mean, geez, I still have nightmares on the bloody thing. You know what I'm saying? I've had to go and see a psychiatrist to try and get me over that.
Chili Boom
And
Boom.
I promise you, Chili Boom Boom, we put everything on this horse. And I promise you, came through the 500 under the hand. It was cantering. And I still remember the commentator saying, and Chili Boom. But as he says the second bloody boom, the thing stumbled. And Robbie Fred went arse over tit. We lost everything in the
Oh,
flash.
no.
I promise you. At the 500, if I sat on that thing, I would have won by 4. He could not get beat. It was impossible. Went arse over tit and we lost everything. So, that probably was the worst loss of my life.
And you had to lose to Chili Boom Boom, eh?
Absolutely.
Okay, so just to carry on from that, your worst loss was Chili Boom Boom. I'll never forget that after that. Your best win, Mace. What was your best win ever?
Best win. I probably think one of the best wins was a horse called Rule by the Sword. I think it was running in the German November handicap. We were all at Gravel and upstairs with all the owners and trainers. You know, it was a big privilege to sit with owners and trainers. And I think Bodrum was running that day, and Bodrum must have been 4 to 10 on. And when I was asked, what do you fancy? And I said, Rule by the Sword. Well, everybody sort of turned around and laughed at me. And I'll never forget, Mace was actually on Bodrum. I'll never forget that. And they came through, and you were under their hands, and Mace was looking left. I think it was Mace. It was either Mace or Jeff. Looking left, and this bloody Rule by the Sword came on the inside and got him on the line. I went berserk. Fell down the bloody stairs of the owners and trainers, falling all over these, as they said, the big harnies. And I still jumped up and I still said, and you guys know nothing about racing. And I ran off to go and collect my 10 wins on Rule by the Sword. So probably one of the when I say for me the most emotional one. I'm just trying to think of the other one.
Well, I can tell you mine. I think I've shared this with you, but I'll share it with the punters. I was given Spacewalk at 33 to 1, and I started backing him from 33 to 1. I think he went off 25 or 22 to 1, and he won on a dead heat, apparently.
That's right.
Yeah, that was my biggest win. It was Spacewalk. I'll never forget that. Robbie Fred still rode it in those days.
Okay, I've misinterpreted. You talk about the biggest win I've had on a single horse. That must be Bush Telegraph.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, shit. We started punting this horse probably in the February for the bloody July. And by the time the July came, it had won 8 on a trot. We had punted every one of them. And the July day came, and we just kept climbing on. When he won on the Saturday, I went and bought a new car on the Sunday. That's how much money I had.
Wow.
So,
what was the name of that horse again, you said?
Bush Telegraph.
Bush Telegraph. How could I forget that? What a horse, eh?
No, 100%. Also, Main Man was another one in the Schweppes Challenge. Jeff Lloyd, start to finish, 10 to 1. You know, there's been some greats. Ruby Baby was probably one of my best. We were at Clearwood. Had done my salary, hadn't paid my bloody rent, hadn't paid my car, nothing. And I think I must have about 25 Rand or 26 Rand left. Last race on the card, and I put all wins on Ruby Baby, and Ruby Baby arrived and paid 73 Rand a win. I went berserk. I mean, that was over 2 months' salary for me in one flash. You know what I'm saying? So there's just there's so many good times. You know, those are just some that's on the top of my head. Stevie.
Okay, nice. And what's a funny moment in racing that you've had that you can say that like you've never forgotten about, or like it was really funny, like, you know?
Yeah, well, look, it was funny for us. In the old days, when you went to the race course and you went upstairs to owners and trainers, you had to have socks on. Okay.
Oh no.
And I never thought going there. And I bought myself a pair of moccasins. Now, nobody wore bloody socks with moccasins. So we go upstairs, and the chap sitting there asked to look at my socks. Well, I didn't have socks on, did I? So he wouldn't allow us in. But there was no ways I was going to go home, nor was I going to miss a race meeting. So we walked back to my car, and I found a set of surgical gloves in my cubby hole. So I put the surgical gloves on my feet, put the moccasins on, and went back. So when we arrived here, the chap says to me, "Let me see your socks." So when I lifted my trousers, I had these two fingers hanging out the side of my shoes. They laughed so much, and he just said to me, "Hey, Lighty, you can come inside." It's just days like that you don't forget.
I tell you.
Bloody surgical gloves on your bloody feet.
Can you believe
what a
it?
fool.
Can you believe
But there
it?
was no ways I was going to miss them. Yeah, there was no ways I was going to miss that meeting. That I can promise you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I remember the one time I went to the races and I couldn't wear flip-flops. And
That's correct.
the guy said to me, well, you can't come in. So I saw a security guard sitting across the road with boots on, security guard boots. And I went to this guy and I gave him a small 5 or a 10, I can't remember. And I said to him, let me use your boots for a couple of hours. So I put the security guy's boots on and I went into the course. When I finished, I gave him his boots back. That's something I'll never forget, you know?
True. And you told me we didn't have a problem.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anyway. Those are the days.
Yeah, all of the fun of it, eh?
I'm telling you. And, Mace, your advice to the punters today, what advice can you give them?
Guys, don't use the rent money. Take money that you can afford to enjoy yourselves with. Punt cautiously.
I say discipline. I always say discipline.
Yeah,
let's be disciplined.
Yeah, definitely.
You have more fun.
Set yourself a target. Yeah, set yourself a target for that day. And just remember, when the money's in your pocket, it's not their money, it's your money. So don't say, I'm playing with their money, you know.
Yeah.
Take the money, go home, because nobody's going to give you 500 Rand or 1,000 Rand for bugger all.
Exactly.
But important, go there. No, don't use the rent money. Enjoy yourselves.
And I don't think any tipping site's going to tip you 3 months of 21 grand. And that's only 100 wins, 100 places. So
yeah,
I think we're doing something right there, Mace.
100%. And again, if we can get the guys involved, in small shares, and we all form one big family, oh, what a pleasure. What a pleasure. Please, Lord, let that happen.
Yeah, let these guys stick with us and they'll have lots of fun, I'm sure.
No, 100%.
Just to end off, I think we've discussed your nickname, Mace Roberts, and the Postman, because you always deliver.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Listen, Mace, thank you for taking the time out. I know you're very busy studying. I know you spend between 6 and 8 hours. So I know the one card you did 12 hours. I know
we had a cracker that day, didn't we?
We had a cracker that day. The punters cleaned up as well.
Absolutely.
That was phenomenal. We're going to keep trying to steer the guys in the right direction, make sure that they're showing profit. If they lose, they must come back stronger. That doesn't mean chasing. And we'll keep educating
100%.
the guys as to how we became successful, or how we are
100%.
successful doing the racing at this stage of the game. So thank you for your time, Mace. Thank you for the laugh and the bit of banter. And
No, Stevie, only a pleasure.
I hope you enjoy your day tomorrow out at Greyville, and you keep
100%.
making those contacts that you're making. And
100%.
the kid and myself are probably going to come out in March, April again, if we can, and we'll hook up, and hopefully we can meet some of the subscribers. Take them out with us,
100%.
and
There we
we
go.
go
Yeah,
forward
we can all
from
go
there.
and spend a morning at Summerfeld, and then we can
Exactly.
go racing wherever.
Maybe we can have a
wherever,
breakfast
No,
together,
100%.
and we can go racing together with the guys. Who knows?
100%.
Who knows?
No, 100%.
The sky's
Stevie,
the
only a
limit.
pleasure. I appreciate that.
Thank you, and remember, enjoy, have fun, break a leg, and cheers for now.